All right, let's jump right into this explainer and break down an absolute masterclass in tactical execution. AT&T Stadium, Arlington, Texas. We're talking world number 3 Spain clashing with the reigning powerhouse, world number 1 France. Honestly, this felt like the 2026 World Cup final, happening exactly 1 round early. So let's get straight into the numbers, the tactics, and exactly how this heavyweight bout was won.
Just look at the stakes here. On one side, you have France, unbeaten and chasing a mythical 3rd consecutive World Cup final appearance. That is a level of sustained global dominance we rarely ever see in the modern era. And on the other side, Spain, an emerging squad on an absolute mission to shatter that French dynasty and crown themselves the undisputed kings of global football.
Moving on to Section 1, the road to the semifinal. Let's see exactly how these 2 European juggernauts navigated the bracket to punch their tickets to Texas.
The momentum contrast here is absolutely fascinating to look at. Just look at France, a flawless 6-0-0 record. I mean, they were a terrifying offensive machine in the group stage, hanging 3 goals on Senegal, 3 on Iraq, and 4 on Norway. That's 9 goals in just 3 games. Contrast that with Spain's path. They had a surprisingly shaky start with a 0-0 draw against Cape Verde, but man, from that moment on, they just locked in. It became a methodical defensive chokehold, shutting out Saudi Arabia 4-0, edging Uruguay and Portugal 1-0, and taking down Belgium 2-1. They didn't have the flashy goal counts of France, but they had an absolute iron grip on control of the pitch.
Which brings us to Section 2, storylines and the rivalry. To really understand this matchup, you've got to look at the psychological warfare that was brewing before kickoff. The psychological tone, set completely by Spain's electrifying number 19-year-old winger Lamine Yamal. He literally stood in front of the press and bluntly stated, "If anyone should fear anyone, it's us." Talk about a brilliant framing tactic, right? He completely ditched the underdog mentality against the world number 1 and set this tone of absolute fearlessness for the entire Spanish camp.
And you know what? Number 19 backed it up with hard data. Spain had actually already mastered this exact French core twice in the past 2 years. They beat them in Euro 2024 and then again in the 24-25 Nations League. Plus, Spain had won 6 of their last 7 knockout matches against European teams. So they literally had the proven blueprint for dismantling continental giants.
All right, Section 3, pre-match analytics. Let's set the stage with the hard numbers and betting lines heading into the fixture.
If we look at the statistical models heading into the match, France was still the mathematical favorite with a 38% probability to win in regulation, compared to Spain's 31.2%. And this was despite some pretty serious fitness questions lingering in the French midfield, specifically around Aurélien Tchouameni managing a groin issue and Manu Kone dealing with a knee knock. But the algorithms still blindly trusted that French pedigree. And honestly, the computer models favored France because of this staggering metric right here. 15 wins in their last 17 international matches overall. They were, by every definition of the word, a certified winning machine. It's like they had simply forgotten how to lose.
Which leads us to Section 4, the match breakdown. Let's dive into the tactical execution, the match timeline, and exactly how Spain systematically dismantled the heavy favorites.
Okay, the sequence of events here is absolutely critical. In the 22nd minute, number 19, Lamine Yamal, backs up his trash talk. Using that explosive pace of his, he drives aggressively right into the heart of the French penalty area and forces a defensive foul. Number 21, Oyarzabal, steps up to the spot and calmly converts the penalty. First blood to Spain. And this was a massive milestone. It was their very first goal of the tournament, generated from sustained open play pressure, rather than a set-piece transition.
But the true turning point hits shortly after that goal. France loses their absolute anchor, number 4, William Saliba, to a non-contact back injury right in the middle of the first half. This triggered a massive defensive disruption. Think about it. When you suddenly lose Saliba's elite recovery pace and positioning while you're already chasing a deficit, your tactical integrity shatters. France's backline panicked, and their defensive rhythm just evaporated.
And Spain is way too smart of a team not to ruthlessly exploit that lack of cohesion. In the 58th minute, they delivered the absolute dagger.
Without Saliba organizing the defense, Spain's Pedro Porro and Dani Olmo executed a breathtakingly fast, slick 1-2 combination. This high-speed technical sequence completely sliced right through the unorganized French defensive block, allowing Porro to finish beautifully and double the Spanish lead to 2-0.
And now take a look at the incredible paradox in these final match statistics. If you just looked at total shots, you might think France dominated, right? They outshot Spain 14-10. France even had more shots on target, 4-2. Possession was basically deadlocked at 51-49. But the bottom line? Goals? Spain 2, France 0. Spain operated with absolutely perfect, 100% clinical efficiency. Literally just 2 genuine shots on target all night, and they buried both of them.
Conversely, look at the shocking reality for the French squad. Their elite, world-class front line, number 10 Kylian Mbappé, number 11 Ousmane Dembélé, and Michael Olise, they generated 14 total shots, with 4 on target but 0 goals. It really highlights a highly unusual lack of composure in the final third from some of the absolute best attackers on the planet. They simply could not penetrate Spain's incredibly disciplined, organized backline.
Moving on to Section 5, the aftermath. So, the final whistle blows. Spain 2, France 0. What are the major implications of this tactical masterclass?
Well, let's start with France. Their era of undisputed World Cup dominance officially hits a wall. But, individual greatness remains intact. Number 10, Kylian Mbappé leaves the 2026 tournament tied for the Golden Boot lead with 8 goals, bringing his career World Cup tally up to 20. He now moves into second place on the all-time scoring list, trailing only the legendary Lionel Messi, who sits at 21. So Mbappé's individual brilliance remains for sure, even if his team's run was cut short.
Ultimately, this represents a massive, seismic shift in the global football hierarchy. By eliminating the top-ranked side and denying them a third straight final, Spain made a definitive statement. And this wasn't a fluke, this was their third consecutive victory over this specific French core. Spain has unequivocally proven that they are the ultimate spoiler to French ambition, firmly cementing their own status as the preeminent force in international football today.
So the stage is perfectly set. Spain advances to Sunday's World Cup final right back at AT&T Stadium. They've conquered the former kings, leaving us all with one massive, lingering question. Will they face England or Argentina for the ultimate crown? And honestly, does anyone on earth currently have the tactical blueprint to stop this dominant Spanish machine? I guess we'll find out on Sunday.